News exclusive inside the making of the dire wolf are Maria Villarreal, the only TV reporter allowed inside the lab where Colossal says they made history.
At that moment, when we saw those first lines of computer code that told us that we had wolf DNA, I knew we were going to be able to do this project.
Back, everyone. Tonight, we want to take you inside that stunning scientific breakthrough, the return of the dire wolf. These wolf pups certainly look cute, but beneath all that fur is a fascinating story. Should humans be trying to bring back what's gone extinct or focus on saving what we already have? In tonight's Prime Focus, Maria Villarreal and our team got exclusive access inside Colossal Biosciences lab, where they dreamt up the dire wolf. But we also spoke with critics of this technology who worry if humans tinker too much with things, we could risk ruining our planet for good.
Colossal Biosciences says it's brought back an extinct species, the first time ever for humanity. These are dire wolves, well known from HBO's hit show, Game of Thrones.
There are no dire wolves south of the wall.
No, there are 5.
These animals haven't walked the earth for some 10,000 years.
The dire wolf is the first de-extinct species. This is the exogenous development lab, so this is where we're working on the artificial wolf.
ABC News given exclusive access inside Colossal's state-of-the-art laboratory. Chief Scientist Dr. Beth Shapiro showing us around.
And we scan through the genomes of the 2 dire wolves.
Dr. Shapiro believes the work going on in this small lab could have a big impact on all life on our planet.
Scientists have predicted that by 2050, more than half of species that are alive today could become extinct. I don't want that future.
Colossal has set ambitious goals.
Woolly mammoths, now long extinct, once roamed these northern landscapes in large herds, playing a critical role in the stability of their ecosystem.
Ben Lamb founded Colossal initially on the idea of bringing back the woolly mammoth.
Are you as obsessed with it as everybody else?
Yeah, I am. You know, we had woolly mammoths walking the earth at the same time that humans were building the pyramid.
That idea has gotten Colossal a $10 billion valuation and a lot of high-profile investors like Tom Brady, Tiger Woods, Peter Jackson.
We're not a foundation. We're not a nonprofit. We're not an academic think tank. You know, we are trying to actually, develop products and build technologies.
Just a few weeks ago, the company announcing the woolly mouse, a new type of mouse with a thicker coat of fur modeled after the woolly mammoth.
People love them. And it just made people come to our website, which maybe made people read about the de-extinction project.
The announcement not without some controversy, with critics saying it's a PR stunt that doesn't actually prove Colossal is any closer to bringing back the woolly mammoth.
The woolly mouse is a proof of technology. It's not a PR stunt. What this proves is that our end-to-end process of taking data from, DNA, identifying genes that drive core traits, and so it is a proof of technology. And then the dire wolves are just one step further beyond that.
Colossal keeping their dire wolf project secret from the world for more than 18 months.
How did this happen? We're making a list of what are the cool animals that are extinct that people would be interested in, and the dire wolf comes up.
At the time, there wasn't enough dire wolf DNA available to succeed. Beth's team extracted higher quality DNA from fossils, and what came next was a breakthrough.
At that moment, when we saw those first lines of computer code that told us that we had wolf DNA, I knew we were going to be able to do this project.
Colossal electing to use a gray wolf as the base for their dire wolf.
So we've taken a gray wolf genome, a gray wolf cell, which is already genetically 99.5% identical to dire wolves, and we've edited those cells at multiple places in its DNA sequence to contain the dire wolf version of the DNA. We have an embryo. Then we put that embryo into a surrogate mom, and that embryo develops into a fetus and then is born. That animal looks like a dire wolf, it will behave like a dire wolf, and it is a dire wolf.
Colossal's chief animal officer, Matt James, is in charge of taking care of the 3 dire wolves, Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi.
So there's a lot of challenges. Now that the animal's here, it's
How do you care for an animal?
Colossal is keeping the dire wolves at an undisclosed location in a 2,000-acre enclosed nature preserve. ABC News asked to see the wolves up close, and Colossal declined.
The responsibility lies on me and my team in order to make sure that those animals live the best life possible, experience the most optimal welfare possible.
The dire wolves are roughly 7 months old, and Colossal tells us no animals were harmed in their making. The surrogates, 2 dogs, have been adopted through the Humane Society.
So I had all the confidence that this was going to work. We thought really hard about what edits to make to the DNA. The edits that we made them really light colored in coat. And so when I saw them born and they were white, I was like, we've done it. Those are dire wolves.
But not everyone is convinced.
I don't think they are actually dire wolves. I don't think what we have is dire wolves. What we have is something new. We have a mostly gray wolf that looks like a dire wolf. Well, the cool thing about dogs versus wolves is that their skulls are really shortened.
Dr. Julie Meechan is a paleontologist. She's one of the few people in the world who knows as much about dire and gray wolves as Dr. Shapiro.
So I think that if you were to ask me if you could make a dire wolf from a gray wolf, I would say the genetics might not line up.
Inside her lab in Iowa, she shows us gray wolf fossils and explains how the 2 animals diverged millions of years ago.
I would say that they are similar enough that you could probably tweak a gray wolf genome to look like a dire wolf, but you certainly could approximate the dire wolf's appearance using a gray wolf model.
How do you definitively say to them, no, this is a dire wolf?
It's a great question. And this is really a human construct. I think that the best definition of a species is if it looks like that species, if it is acting like that species, if it is filling the role of that species, then you've done it.
Dr. Meechan is working with Dr. Shapiro on an upcoming research paper about dire wolves, but is not paid by or advising Colossal.
My question about the de-extinction events is this for purely entertainment purposes for people? The mission of helping to preserve the species, that is a mission that I could get behind 100%. I think that we need to preserve the species that we still have here on Earth.
Colossal says they are starting to do just that.
We developed a new approach to cloning that we also used to clone 4 red wolves. This is the only endemic American wolf, the most endangered wolf in the world, and we've created 4 of them that can augment the population right now that's surviving because of technologies that we developed on the path to the dire wolf.
There are under 24 red wolves left in the wild, and Colossal is hoping the red wolf is just the beginning for countless animals on the verge of extinction.
This sort of technology, as it becomes more widely available, is going to have tremendous benefits across biodiversity conservation.
I think we have a moral obligation to try to right some of the wrongs we've done on the planet.
Even some of the company's critics agree this type of work could have a huge impact.
It has the potential to advance our understanding of genetics and of reproduction of animals.
Dr. Robert Kleitzman is a bioethicist and geneticist at Columbia University. And while excited about the dire wolf,
I mean, gee, that's impressive. There's a certain wow factor, like how cool is that, right?
But he does have concerns.
So one wants to be careful if you're mucking around with genes, that there may be things we don't understand. You may produce a wolf that's twice as ferocious. You may produce a super wolf. And this is, of course, the film Jurassic Park from a few years ago showed sort of a science fiction version of we're going to bring back a dinosaur and ends up attacking all of us.
I think where a lot of people's brains are going to go, which is Jurassic Park. There is a part in the movie where Dr. Malcolm says,
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
You know, you're the first person who's ever quoted that to me?
no.
No.
I was going to say, but so you hear that then a lot.
Yes, our motivation is to make extinction a thing of the past. You know, if we decide as a society that these new technologies that are at our fingertips are too risky, that we don't want to take the chance, that we're not going to try to save species by implementing genetic engineering types of technologies, that is a choice that also carries consequences.
Colossal is full steam ahead, pledging to bring back the woolly mammoth by 2028.
Is it realistic to say that we really will meet that timeline of 2028?
Yeah, I mean, we're on target for it right now.
And no matter where you stand, the implications are earth-shattering.
Ecosystems are very delicately balanced, and nature is far more complicated than our ability as humans to understand it or to understand all the possible unforeseen consequences.
Is it a stunt?
This work that we're doing, maybe it's a stunt, you can call it that, but if that stunt is engaging people to think about whether they want a career in science, about being hopeful about the future for biodiversity, I'll do it again and again.
What a thought-provoking and interesting story. Our thanks to Maria for that. Coming up.